Okay, the goal in today's video is to cover both books, no splits, and be messy, all under 30 seconds. Ready, set, go. Of course, we're going to start with the Sisterhood of Blackberry Corner. That was some candy to just feel. Don't pay no attention to that. We're on Chapter 5. Cannon Creek, 1957. Mayweather's Diner was right across from Grove Center Playhouse. Bonnie and Thora paused at the corner of Main Street and waited until Cannon Creek's one and only traffic light had turned green. They had just cried through 2 showings of From Here to Eternity and now headed to the diner for dessert. Bonnie closed the tiny pearl button at the top of her white cardigan. She loved this time of year when the stifling summer had given way to a fresh autumn chill. Most of the shops were decorated with the orange and brown colors of the All Hallows season. Flickering white lights were strung from telephone pole to telephone pole through the entire length of the 2-block shopping district. The untroubled mood that had always prevailed in the Three Sisters had finally returned. After 4 months, questions about the dead child had stopped. Absent of any credible explanation from the sheriff's office, folks had contrived their own theories, ranging from a band of gypsies to hoodoo sacrifices. Wherever they had supposed seemed to allow them to sleep, worship peacefully, and go on about the business of living. The light finally clicked to green, and Thora took Bonnie's hand as the 2 friends crossed the street. They were usually delighted to have a bit of time without their husbands. In fact, Bonnie and Thora planned the whole weekend together while the men traveled to see a baseball game in Nashville. And it wasn't just a regular game for Nance Wilder. He and Horace were driving Nance's green pickup truck all the way to Tennessee to see Jackie Robinson play. Early that Saturday morning, Bonnie had served her man a breakfast of French toast and honey ham. Then Nance grabbed his old black crackers cap from the drawer, kissed her on the cheek, and bounded out of the house to pick up Horace. "Is that Ruby Pearl Yancey?" Thora asked as they stopped in front of the diner. Bonnie saw the small woman standing at the box office of the movie house. "Ain't she the saddest thing?" Thora said. The image of Ruby Pearl, cloaked in a dark, chafing scarf, plucking her own movie fare from her purse, was a sorrowful sight. Ruby Pearl looked up just in time to notice Bonnie and Thora staring from across the street. Bonnie wanted to let her go on, but they had already seen each other, and it would be beyond rude not to speak. Bonnie grabbed Thora's arm, and the 2 dashed back across the street, just as the light was about to change again. "Right, Ruby Pearl," Bonnie said, brightening her voice. "How you doing, honey?" Thora said kindly. Ruby Pearl nodded at them both. She fiddled with the strap of her purse. "I was going to call you, Bonnie." "You got a phone?" Thora blurted. Bonnie elbowed Thora in her ribs. "Just the party line," Ruby Pearl answered. "If you ever need to reach me, just call Ruth, and she'll just jangle me out there on Route 9. "That's wonderful," Bonnie said. "It's just a phone," she said modestly, "and it surely took me long enough. Folks are going to do things in their own time," Thora said. Ruby Pearl closed the center ticket in her hand. "I was thinking," she said to Bonnie, "thinking that maybe one day I'll come to one of your ladies' meeting." "Why in the world would you want to do that?" Thora put in. "I wouldn't wish any of them Harvest ladies, and especially that damn Tilly Mormoro, on my worst enemy." Ruby Pearl laughed. "You are a caution, Thora Dean." "Ain't she though?" Bonnie said. "I guess I'm trying to get myself out the house a little," Ruby Pearl said. "That's a fine idea," Bonnie said. Miss Mayfield, the movie usher, was about to close the doors. "I better get on," Ruby Pearl said. Bonnie embraced the woman. "You have yourself a good time," Bonnie said, "and I'll certainly call you before our next harvest meeting." Take your take care of yourself, girl, Thora said. They were about to walk away. And you gonna like that movie, Thora called. Make sure you got yourself a load of hankies. RuPaul wagged her finger at Thora. Then she hurried into the theater. Look like she finally coming along in the world, Bonnie said as they crossed the street. About damn time. The woman lost her family, Thora. She been to hell and back. Bonnie suddenly stopped on the sidewalk in front of the diner. And weren't you the one who just said that everybody got to do things at their own pace? One that's just you. Well, yeah, I was proud of you, being so sensitive and all. And I meant it, Thora insisted. But I guess being gentle and understanding just don't come natural to me. The glass door and Mayweather's chimed when they entered the diner. A large jukebox by the entrance played the Woo Woo Train by the Valentines. Hey there, Polly, Bonnie called. Thora waved to the slight white woman counting change behind the cash register. How you do there, Bonnie? Thora, Polly called. Just sit anywhere, Polly pushed open a door that looked like a pink wrapped present and went into the kitchen. Let me get something to drink. Thora chose a booth. She and Bonnie slid on either side. Slow tonight, Thora said, noticing the spare crowd. It coming on that time of year when folks like to stay home. Decorated with pastel pink and blue curtains, Mayweather's was lined with a long bronze counter that practically extended the length of a place. Back in the 40s, Polly made the decision to open the door to all people, and some of the local white folks decided to frequent Aaron Briner's place instead. Polly didn't much care. She made more than a good living serving the colored folks in the Three Sisters. Bunny and Naz ate there once in a while, but Thora and Horace were regular customers. It was a little joke around the while that in Dean House that Thora was such a bad cook that Horace knew Mayweather's menu by heart. Mayweather's did have the best desserts. This time of the evening, after a movie or a late church service, dessert is what most people ordered. Bonnie decided on a fried peach pie and coffee. It took only 3 minutes for her to gobble it down. Damn. Thora took her time and sat cutting a chocolate straw from the yellow part of her marble cake. Why didn't you just order the pound cake? Bonnie asked. Thora's attention was focused a couple of booths away. She didn't answer. If you're going to cut the dark part out, Bonnie continued, why not just have the yellow cake to begin with? Thora glanced over Bonnie's shoulder. That Carl Monroe, she said. Bonnie turned to look. She could only see the back of a man. A round-faced, dark brown woman that Bonnie hadn't seen before was sitting across from him. No. Yeah, it is, too. You sure that's Carl? Bonnie whispered. He just peeked over his shoulder, looking all guilty and everything. Thora raised one thin brow. She always raised her brow when she had that devilment on her mind. Think Tilly know her man done skipped out? They only sitting together, Thora. My ass, they looking mighty cozy there. Bonnie turned again. The woman's hair was swept off her chubby neck, then wound on the top of her head like a cinnamon bud. Thora was right. She did appear captivated by Carl's words. And that was saying a lot, because Carl Monroe wasn't the most interesting fella in town. Every once in a while, the woman reached across the table and stroked his hand. That man loves himself some fat woman, Thora said. That's for sure, Bonnie giggled. She suddenly felt bad that Carl Monroe might actually be cheating. Oh, loudmouth Tilly, always into someone else's affairs, Thora went on. And here her man done gone to town. Now there's some justice. Bonnie put her empty coffee cup on top of her dessert plate. She set $1.07 on the table before she got up. I ain't crazy about them Tilly ways, Bonnie said, but I don't think this has anything to do with justice. And I know that you don't really feel that way either. Come on now, Thora said, batting her lashes. I ain't crazy about Tilly's ways, Bonnie said, but I don't think this has anything to do with justice. And I know that you don't really feel that way either. Come on now, Thora said, batting her lashes. This don't just give This don't give you just a little satisfaction after hearing that woman's mouth all these years. No, Bonnie said. Then she thought about it. Well, not much. You just as bad as me. Thor laughed. They walked past Carl. Thor, in all her browsiness, couldn't help but slow her pace. Carl's appetite suddenly became so ravenous that he barely looked up. Barney could hear his foot nervously tap against the beige glass plate. Dora was about to confront him when Bonnie yanked at her hand, and the woman left the restaurant. As they walked to the car, Bonnie couldn't help but wonder what made a man go to a woman like that. She wasn't any younger than Tilly, and not even prettier. Yes, Tilly was a loudmouth, but so was Carl. Naz once joked that Carl and Tilly Monroe was a good match made in heaven. He said that the only somebody who could tolerate either one was the other. Thor drove along Bayside Parkway, and Bonnie sat silently. After a while, the stars and paved roads turned to thick trees and dry red clay. Why are you so quiet, Bonnie? Thinking of Tilly? Thor sucked her teeth. There's a whole lot of other subjects worth considering. I just mean, well, why would her husband sneak around like that? You know Tilly, and still gotta ask why? Oh, come on now, Thor. That's not what I mean. He a man, Bonnie. They don't all do that. Most of them, at some point. How can you say that? Horse never stepped out on you. Thor's eyes stayed on the road. Right? Bonnie asked. Thor didn't answer. Right? Bonnie asked again. I expect he did, Thor finally said. Once. What? Bonnie gasped. When? About 2 years ago. Bonnie was stunned. And you didn't tell me, Thor? It's embarrassing, she said. Silas Horse swore up and down that I was talking crazy. But women know these things. I can't believe this, Bonnie started. I tell you all my most inner secrets, and you ain't said boo about this? This? It passed so quick. With who? Who was the woman? One of the Bell sisters. Shut your mouth right now. I ain't lying, Thor said. Bertie, Bessie, get on the way from me. Horse is good with people, Thor said. You know how charming he is. But I noticed that they seem to avoid each other in church. Then he started acting funny around Bessie, cutting his ass toward her, twirling his head all nervous like when she come around. And the other Bell sisters, they looking at him sideways, clicking their teeth and carrying on. They all such trollops in the first place. I never thought so, Bonnie said. Thor looked at her friend like she was a traitor. Well, I'm sorry, Thor, but I never thought that. Come on, Bonnie. Them girls been fast for as long as I can remember. And I mean all three. Essie, Bessie, and Bertie. But how? Bertie said. What you mean how? How they start carrying on, Bonnie asked. And when? Bonnie could see the hurt on Thor's face. Horace went up to Bessie's house to fix her sink. Before he left home, he told me it was just a routine job, and it wouldn't take more than a half hour. Bonnie, that man was gone 3 damn hours. Maybe the pipes was all clogged or something. You know how hairy them Bell sisters is? That wasn't all. I know he was at her place a few more times. Hi, Mother Carrie. She 102, Thor. The woman can see as good as you and me both, Thor argued. She said them Bellas must have had a lot of trouble when they come right, because Horace been in and out of there a lot. Thor pulled into the gate on Blackberry Corner. She turned off the engine and the two women sat for a moment. Damn. So one day I asked him, Thor went on, I say, you fucking Bessie Bell? Bonnie grabbed her own mouth to stop herself from crying out. Yes, I did too, Thor confirmed. Because, of course, he told me I was nuts. Say my man was making things up. So I say, well, whether it is or whether it ain't, you fixing to get up out my house. And ain't had no problem since. You know I don't tolerate that kind of mess. Horse Dean ain't nobody's fool. If there's a choice between Bessie Bell and me, Thor did a double take in Bonnie's front porch. Who you expecting this late? Bonnie couldn't make out the dark figure standing at her door. Oh my goodness. Y'all know who it is. Godfrey circled the house, slightly aggravated. Don't tell me you got yourself a backdoor man, Thor teased. You just plain silly. Bonnie got out of the car and walked toward the porch. A young girl no older than 17 was standing at the door. The porch shadows obscured her features. She looked to be carrying a bundle of clothes. Hey there, Bonnie called. The girl didn't answer. She barely attempted to look at Bonnie and Thor as they approached. Can we do something for you, sugar? Bonnie asked. You mean what you say, the girl asked. Bonnie stopped just below the steps. Excuse me? Ain't you Bonnie Wilder? Yes. You the woman who want the babies? The bundle in her arms suddenly took a different form. When she shifted the load, Bonnie could see the outline of her head and two little feet. Bonnie felt her heartbeat quicken. You are the woman that asked for the babies, ain't you? The girl asked again. What? Bonnie stuttered. Stood up at the lounge house, she said. I seen you myself. I meant only if somebody about to do harm to a child. Thora looked as shocked as Bonnie. I ain't fixing to do no harm, the girl answered. But I ain't about to take care of no child either. Neither. The girl glanced down to the blanket at the quiet baby. The only reason I ain't go to that nurse, live out in Clayton, and have her, well, is cause of what you said and that mean. See, I ain't for killing no babies. It sad me out. I don't understand, Bonnie stammered. You said to bring the babies to you, the girl insisted. That's what she said, right? Before Bonnie could answer, the girl plopped the child in Bonnie's arms. A slight odor of curd milk rose from the damp blanket. I can't take your baby, miss. And that's what would kill you dead, Thora whispered. Hush, Bonnie snapped. I ain't naming her nothing, the girl said, picking up what looked like a batch of rats and placing it by Bonnie's feet. And he only 6 weeks old. Not enough time to know my smell even. Damn. The girl pulled a dark sweater around her shoulders. I just get him some milk so he ain't hungry. He looked directly at Bonnie and said, I won't ask no questions about what you plan to do, and I won't be back. Okay. I'm going to leave it right there, and we're going to pick it up because I was trying to not have to go on, but if I want to do what I need to do, then we need to be going over here and be a little messy. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I was trying to make too many videos. I wasn't. So, the other day on TV, I seen a non-gender commercial. It was basically saying the schools was teaching your kid not the difference between boy and girl. Like they was gonna be they and them. So I was like, so my question is, are they teaching non-gender? I didn't ask Google, so I'm going to ask Google and let you know in another video what Google said. But are they teaching non-gender at your school? It might not sound right. But what are your thoughts? Are they teaching non-gender? Because I've noticed in McDonald's, maybe I just noticed McDonald's. But McDonald's, maybe you can tell me if other places they got little toys. But they've been giving out non-gender toys. Toys that's not exactly made for a girl. Or toys that's not exactly made for a boy. But after I looked up on YouTube. Now I did go to YouTube. I didn't watch no videos, nothing. But I'm gonna give you a list of videos. You go check it out. Tell me how you feel. But I'm saying, are we saying that this is what our opinion? Okay, are we saying that we are for it now? After arguing about it for 3 years about it. Okay, so 7 years ago, there was a video called Sam's Trans Short Film. It's about if all kids were gay and they picked on the straight kids. That's what that video was about. I watched that video a while ago. So I know what that video was about. But everything else, I didn't watch. Okay, gender fluid person confuses everyone. 3 years ago, parent outraged after kindergarten teacher discusses gender identity. 3 years ago, sweetens feminizing boys with genderless schools. 3 years ago, is it sensitive to allow children to explore genders is in schools. Good Morning Britain. 3 years ago, all user gender not neutral bathrooms causing controversy in Portland schools. A year ago, Philip struggles to break up intense general neutral school uniform debate this morning with Philip and Holly. That was 3 years ago. Girls are skipping school because they felt unsafe after sharing bathroom with boys and ashamed. 1 year ago, no more boys and girls. Can our kids go gender free? Did we say yes to this question, or it seems someone said yes for us? That's my question. But that video was a year ago. Raised without gender 3 years ago. Gender neutral education 2 years ago. Back to school for non-binary youth 3 years ago. We raising our children with no gender. That was 2 months ago. Are you I said I'm raising my one, but I'm sure it's the same. Teach respect, not to overstep, always ask, understand that no means no, and so on and so on. Schools are teaching gender and sexual identity a year ago. Can schools keep parents in the dark 3 months ago? School tests for non-binary people and trans guys 3 years ago. So I'm gonna take a wild guess it wasn't safe and people were nice if this video was made. Okay, and then no binary pronouns in schools 2 years ago. Modern education 5 years ago. Gender neutral bathrooms working for Grant High School a year ago. So even after saying that that was a year ago, what they were saying it wasn't safe. Gender fluid students bullied 4 years ago. So I guess it was what I was saying. 3 years ago that we wasn't for it, but now we're like giving it out as toys. So I'm a little confused. But y'all figure it out. Gender neutral family are raising their child as they buys 1 year ago, and then such all the videos. Now we're going on to the Little Lane pranks. If you were still here, I'm so sorry that we took so long, and we're not gonna be able to do the whole chapter, of course, because we don't want to take forever. So I know I'm gonna go. Chapter 3, no title, of course. And what of the lame prince, whom everyone seemed so easily to have forgotten? Not everyone. There were a few kind souls, mothers of families, who had heard his sad story, and some servants about the palace, who had been familiar with his sweet ways. These many a time sighed and said, "Poor Prince Doro." Or looking at the beautiful mountains, which was visible all over no man's land, through few people ever visited them, or perhaps his royal highness is better where he is than even there. They did not know, indeed hardly anyone did know, that beyond the mountains, between them and the sea, lay a tract of country, barren, level, bare, except for short, stunning grass, and here and there a patch of tiny flowers. Not a bush, not a tree, not a resting place for bird or beast was in this dreary plain. In summer, the sunlight fell on it for it hour after hour with a blinding glare. In winter, the winds and rain swept over it unhindered, and the snow came down steadily, noisily, covering it from end to end in one great white sheet, which lay for days and weeks unmarked by a single footprint. Not a pleasant place to live, and no one did live there, apparently. The only sign that human creatures had ever been near the spot was one large round tower which rose up in the center of a plain, and might be seen from every part of it, if there had been anyone to see, which there never was. Rose right up out the ground, as if it had grown of itself, like a mushroom. But it was not of all mushroom-like. On the contrary, it was very solidly built, and from it resembled the Irish round towers, which had puzzled people for so long, no one being able to find out when, or by whom, or for what purpose they were made, seemingly for no use at all, like this tower. It was circular of very firm brickwork, with neither doors nor windows, until near the top, when you could perceive some slinks in the wall, which one might possibly creep in or out, or creep in or look out. Its height was nearly 100 feet, and it had a battlement parchment showing sharp against the sky. As the plan was quite desolate, almost like a desert, only without sand, and led to nowhere except the still more desolate seacoast. No one ever crossed it. Whatever mystery there was about the tower, it and the sky and the plane kept their secret to themselves. So in the next one, we figure out what that secret was.